Hello everyone, it's Nathan again. So before all of the COVID cancelizations on events and whatnot, I had a couple mics coming from this wonderful place, Mic Rentals, and it was the DPA 4266. I had one of these guys coming, and then an Earthworks FM500. And anyways, the gig canceled, but I figured, hey, it'd be fun to, keep the mic. I've used them before. They sound great, but maybe I could do a review on it. Unfortunately, I lost the video that I was trying to do this, and I was pressed for time. And anyways, I plan on redoing this at a later date with way more comprehensive testing and all that kind of good stuff. But I wanted to get this done because I did have the audio, and I figured that this could be useful. So, anyways, Mic Rentals, great place to rent mics from. You can test things out, get a feel for what you like and what you don't like. Full disclosure, I am a dealer for Thor and DPA mics, so I could be biased or am biased or whatever, but my intent and heart in everything that I do is to always give my clients the best for their situation, their venue, their purpose, their ideals, their, what have you. And so what I did was, I have a few tracks. I did these all at kind of the same time, and I recorded 4 different mics, same exact setup and everything, all at the exact same time. And I just kind of want to run through that for y'all. Before we go into that, I wanted just to give y'all a idea of what they look like and that kind of thing. So if you're not familiar, there's the Thor mics. These are really great mics. Honestly, the audio quality synopsis is excellent mic for the price. Audio quality on par with DPA, maybe slightly bulky. And then DPA mics is just some of the best mics in the world. Their mics are on the moon, those kind of things, or maybe Mars. I can't remember. In space. I think it's Mars, actually, on one of the rovers. Anyways, I digress. So, here's kind of some of the specs of both of them. I'm not going to go through all the specs. You could look this up yourself, but, maybe here's some pictures, got some ideas. There's like one of the Thor mics, single headset, dual headsets. Let's see, and then I need to go back to here. Yeah, here we go. So, and then the DPA mic. So it's a 4266 omnicapsule. They're both omnidirectionals. I'm gonna play the WAV files for you and send them, and they're really great. So obviously, the way this is configured, it has a core. You probably wouldn't need that for Pastor, but it'd be good for singing because it allows larger dynamic range and max SPL, but it gets a little pricey up here. These guys are about 300. 300-ish is, I think, MSRP or MAP or something like that. I'd have to look at my dealer sheet. Anyways, you can find them on Amazon. Try to find them from a local dealer, though. Support your local vendors. Let's see. So that's that. And you can look up a review of each of these guys. Each here. So there's Behind the Mixer. He has a good review on them. And then there's the Church Production. They have a review on the DPA mic. DPA mic's maybe a little old, but, whatever. It's not like these mics really change from day to day. I think that's kind of it with showing off these guys. You can kind of tell from this packaging that basically kind of the pros and cons of each of these is, close. No, I don't want you to warn me anymore. Is that the DPA is like a little bit thinner and lighter, and the Thor mic is maybe a bit bulkier, but it's got a great price. That's kind of like the takeaway. Here we go, takeaway. So amazing sound for price, and then if you're doing like streaming and whatnot, maybe the DPA. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, if you're confused with everything that you're seeing right now, don't worry about it. It's not a huge deal. I thought I got rid of this. O-scope. I don't need the O-scope. There we go. Okay, we'll just do one at a time, start at the beginning. And I gotta make sure that this is set up properly.
Hey. Okay, cool. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so that was the DPA. And here's the Thor.
Hey. Okay, cool. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, cool. You can kind of see the difference there. Honestly, audibly, there isn't a lot of difference. Okay, so let's just go through this real fast. My item properties, I did a 12 dB gain on both files because I came in and recorded really low. Just there's plenty of headroom and all that kind of good stuff. 12 dB. So, you know, the files aren't gained up differently. And then I actually did another 6 dB of gain. So there's 18 dB of gain on each mic, but it's identical. And then this thing looks at the overall visual audio statistics. I mean, that's what it is. And so it gives you the peak values, and it gives you the total loudness and then dynamic range. And so I'm looking at these numbers to make sure that the differences between the mic, because the human ear naturally is going to say whatever's louder sounds better. So the goal is for me to match these mics up and all their settings, gain and all that kind of stuff, so that there's no bias in the measurements, just from, you know, on a psychoacoustic standpoint. And you'll see after we run it, you can tell even just right now is that the total loudness 33, the peak is 8.5. So you'll notice the peaks are sometimes off a little bit, but what I recorded, if you run the whole thing, you know, this track all the way through, it's like almost four minutes, something like that. That the peak is total peak is, you know, here and here, so it's 0.25 off, and then there's, you know, 1.22 dynamic range difference, and then, you know, another like what 7.75 dB difference in average loudness. So honestly, they're really close in their statistics. So, you know, they're not, one's not skewed over the other. And I'm just gonna play this through, and then y'all can hear kind of everything I say. So this is me recording. I'm kind of rambling and doing things, so don't worry about it too much. I was trying to figure out how best to do the video. Anyway, so you've got so the EQ, and then you've got one FFT running kind of slower. It's in integrate mode, so this is spectrum analyzer, and then you got a faster one, so you can kind of see the differences at the same time. So we'll do DPA first, and we will start at check 1, 2. And actually, I decided that my output gain is really low, so I'm going to turn that up and redo this. So what I'm going to do is show you the DPA mic and then the Thor mic, and I'm just going to give you, you know, a running on recording of what it sounds like, and then I will put the WAV files as attachments in the description below, because obviously YouTube's compressing this, and so, you know, it's not going to be the same as just listening to the WAV files. Anyways, I hope you enjoy. Okay, I decided to do a little bit mic stuff. I have a DPA mic here, a 4066 with a core, and then I have a Thor mic. Yeah, DPA is on this side, Thor mic's on this side. Shure QLXD body packs that go straight. I got 4 of them, and each of them is in a channel to a Tascam US-16-08, and then so each microphone is going to Reaper and recording, so there's no processing or anything. And so I wish I could go straight direct into my RME interface, but I can't. and I keep looking over there because that's where my computer is, so I'm looking at the, yeah, that thing, the computer. That one's like that. This one's like this, here-ish. I've been finicking with them a little bit. So the idea of this test is to give you guys, or give people an idea of a, a very nice DPA mic, which I highly recommend. They're comfortable. There's a lot of reasons to use them. And then also a Thor mic that is more reasonably priced, and then you can see your trade-offs. So there you've got a profile shot and another profile shot, and then for funsies we've got the absolute opposite end of the tier, which I've got a Pyle mic, I think it's $22, and then a Chinese mic. These two guys. That's kind of funny. This one was a children's style, so it's supposed to be smaller. I used it on a play. Very cheap mics. I think these were like 20. I think they were like $30, something like that. But yeah, so I'm going to try to put them on without doing too much weird stuff. Okay, I decided to do a little bit mic stuff. I have a DPA mic here, a 4066 with a core, and then I have a Thor mic. Yeah, DPA is on this side, Thor mic's on this side. Shure QLXD body packs that go straight. I got 4 of them, and each of them is in a channel to a Tascam USS 16-08, and then so each microphone is going to Reaper and recording, so there's no processing or anything. And so I wish I could go straight direct into my RME interface, but I can't, and I keep looking over there because that's where my computer is, so I'm looking at the, yeah, that thing, the computer. That one's like that. This one's like this, here-ish. I've been finicking with them a little bit. So the idea of this test is to give you guys, or give people an idea of a, a very nice DPA mic, which I highly recommend. They're comfortable. There's a lot of reasons to use them. And then also a Thor mic that is more reasonably priced, and then you can see your trade-offs. So there you've got a profile shot and another profile shot, and then for funsies we've got the absolute opposite end of the tier, which I've got a Pyle mic, I think it's $22, and then a Chinese mic. These two guys. That's kind of funny. This one was a children's style, so it's supposed to be smaller. I used it on a play. Very cheap mics. I think these were like 20. I think they were like $30, something like that. But yeah, so I'm going to try to put them on without doing too much weird stuff. Okay, so that was fun. Hope y'all enjoyed seeing that. I have a couple more tricks up my sleeve. We can listen to the other 2 mics, but honestly, I didn't put them on in time, so like up here, I didn't even put them on till back here. So honestly, like they're far away, and the noise floor is high, and it's just not good. It's not casting them a relight. And like I said, I'm gonna redo this video so it, everything is done legitly, and there's a fair comparison between the mics. Honestly, for $20, these hang in there really well, but obviously they're definitely not as good as the Thor DPA. So we'll just do the check 1 2 real fast. Check 1 2 3 4.
Check, check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check, check, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so you can kind of hear they're a long way away. So I think this is where
too much weird stuff. So I'm going to try to put them on without doing too much weird stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to put them on without doing too much weird stuff. So I'm going to try to put them on without doing too. So I'm going to try to put them on without doing.
Yeah, so you can kind of see that the gains are off on these, and it just doesn't cast them in a good light. So anyway, switching to a different topic. So this is actually a trace that I did of the DPA mic. It fits really closely with the frequency response curve that they have on their website. There's a little boost at 3K, or 3 dB boost somewhere in this range, and slopes down towards 20, starting around 10K. So honestly, you know, like that's perfect, you know, so it's great. I'm gonna leave that on and go back to Reaper. Mute these two. Okay, so I have to mute it to the sound because it's just you're hearing two at the same time. You could hear it. Oh, I need to play something with some meat in it.
I decided to do a little bit.
Yeah, so you can hear it. They're both playing at the same time. The reason why I'm doing that, so basically I have one channel that's coming from DPA and one channel that's coming from the Thor mic. And because it's a dual FFT, it is doing a comparison. And so now you can see a comparison. If I set it for none, which would be ideal, you know, you can kind of see it. It's the same throughout here, but quite different everywhere else. So I have to do a little bit of averaging, even if we add just a tiny bit of smoothing. You can kind of see just, you know, there is a general curve, and they are generally very close. And so the thing with this is that we're taking the differences, right? So if we're taking the differences, we're remembering that one channel is one mic and the other channel is the other mic. The major difference is if they're all along the 0 line. We could do no smoothing and take it up to like 1 second, maybe even like 2 seconds. It's really long. I wouldn't suggest this, but just for funsies, so we can kind of see. We should really be using our eyes to do the averaging, but if we let the analyzer do the averaging, 2 seconds is a little too long, honestly. Even for trusting our eyes. But lower the coherence a little bit. We can kind of see that, you know, it's generally good from 5K to like 100 hertz. You know, they're not too different. It starts growing different here. Phase trace looks good. Pretty different. Pretty similar all the way through. And then obviously up here, starting around 5K, they start changing. So 5K on up, they're a little different, but for the most part, the mics are pretty much the same in this, you know, in the mids and lows. That's, to me, that's really quite impressive. You know, that a $300 mic is keeping the same as another mic. I didn't do this, but it would be fun to see the difference. So we did maybe this mic. Yeah, so you can already see the differences are crazy. Honestly, I think they're so far out of time it doesn't even. Yeah, I don't. I really need to find some louder speaking spots. So maybe here-ish. Yeah, this is way too long. There we go. Okay, so at least that found it, but like, you know, impulse response is terrible. Phase trace is terrible. The coherence is all over the place. You know, I mean, this is just... These mics are not correlated. Not correlated at all. So you can tell that the mics are different, right? Whereas the DPA and the Thor, we'll put it back to 0. I should do 0. There we go. You know, pretty close. So, anyways, I hope this was beneficial, helpful, useful, all those kind of good things. Like, subscribe, comment below.